Welcome back to Pocket Coaching, everyone. Today we want to talk about lifespan and what's really possible. We are leaving, for us and for our pets, up to half of our life on the table. Half of our potential life. So let's break this down. In the US, average life expectancy is about 76 years. In the UK, it's about 81. For some of these groups, some groups of people in general, it's even lower than that. In contrast, the oldest lived person is 122. Well, was 122. She's since passed. And she was not alone in getting up above 100. So if we think of 122 as kind of the upper limit, and some people, many people, average person, 76 yeyears. That's over 30% of our life that we're losing. 30%. That is, I just want to let that sit in for, soak in for a second. And it's even more for pets, right, Benny?
Yeah, it's even worse. So the average cat lives to around about 15 years old. This is human years now. So of course they get older in terms of their chronological aging, but in terms of human years, cats on average are living to 15. The picture is worse for dogs. The average for dogs now is 10.6 human years. Okay, 10.6. Now, the giant breeds typically age faster, and their average lifespan's around about 7. Okay, 7. And there's studies and things coming out now for some of the dogs that are very, very highly bred, to really change the physiology of a dog. So for animals, so breeds like Frenchies are living on average 4. Okay, this is so wrong. And when we look at how old they can get to, we see the oldest cat lived to 38 human years. So 15 is less than half of that. The oldest dog got to 29.5 years old. Okay, so that's a third. That dogs now on average are living a third. And if you're a Frenchie, I don't even know what the mass is because it's so tiny, right? 29. So if you're a cat, you should be easily getting to 30 years old, right? If the oldest one can get to 38, then you on average should be able to get to 30 if you're a cat. And if you're a dog, depending on your breed size, but you should be getting to 20 at least to 20. So we're able to look at that and say that's twice as long as they're living now. Let's give them back that 50% of healthy life that's missing.
I'm just those numbers are just hitting me hard right now. That's so devastating. I mean, devastating. And we've just kind of accepted that as the norm. What do they say for geriatric? What do they consider a geriatric dog or cat?
It used to be that geriatric was, really noticeable aging, and a dog that's over 15, over 18 if you're a cat. Okay. And even then, those numbers I think are too small. I think you should be looking at maybe 18 to 21. So that's the zone where you should be really thinking about geriatric for a dog. And a cat, okay, once you get over 28.
Yeah.
To think of, a lot, you go and get your pet insurance and they'll say, how old is your pet? And you're 10. And they're like, oh, that counts as a geriatric animal. It's 4 times the price for you now. It's no, that's not. That's absolute rubbish. So when we believe that geriatric is 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, we start to accept those, oh, well, it's because he's old that he's got that condition now. And you just accept that it's normal. And you accept then that life sentence for your pet to have that condition. Whereas if that condition arose when they were 1 or 2 years old, you would go, there's no way. Though you must be wrong. Do I get a second opinion? That can't be right. My pet is too young to have that disease. It's not normal. Let's do something about it. You would be so pushing back on that and not accepting it because the logic doesn't make sense. But we've been so trained and indoctrinated now to believe that when you get to 7, oh, well, that's fine. Yeah, he's old. It's fine. It's normal. Accept it. Don't accept that. Don't fall into that trap. You need to think that your animals are supposed to have this lifespan of a couple of decades, 3 decades if they're a cat, and therefore they're not getting old until they're really close to that big number.
Yeah.
And if you look after them and implement a longevity lifestyle, then you're going to be pushing off those diseases that are the normal thing, that are just like, oh, there's ever getting old. You should have a pet where people go, how old is your cat? And you go, oh, my cat's 23. And they go, what? I thought they were like 3. They're so playful. They're all over the place. And you're like, no, they're 23. That should be the response. But let's do that.
On the human side, that made me think of like, okay, what's like the equivalent on the human side? And a lot of the like senior specials and like you're senior if you're at least 65.
In the UK, you're free bus pass.
65, if the potential is 120, you're like barely past your mid-life. Yeah, that's crazy. If midlife crisis, right? That term usually is like for people in their 30s. What? 30s? That shouldn't be your midlife, right? That's like your quarter life crisis, okay? So we, like you said, we need to first believe this, because the decisions, whatever we believe comes true, right? Because it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we will make decisions to support that. And if we believe that our lifespan is only capable of being 80, or for our pets, 10, or oh my gosh, 4, like we have to believe it to make it come true, because the decisions we make will be completely different. And this comes back to why that longevity lifestyle is so important. It's not just lifespan, right? It's health span. Last week, we talked about making all of our years the healthy ones, not declining with age. And so this is a completely new paradigm, because not only are we talking about living longer, but we're talking about living healthier. So it's not live to be 76 and, decline and get more and more frail. We're saying live until you're 122 and like be killing it the whole time. So
yeah. Feel like you're in your 20s when you're in your 90s. That's the thing, right? And whatever the equivalent of those numbers is for pets as well, right? That's what we're talking about. It's fullness of health, it's vitality, it's youthfulness, it's high levels of energy, it's rapid healing ability, it's resistance to anything that's coming at you to try and knock you down, because you're so resilient and so youthful biologically. That's what we're talking about for your entire life, for your pet's whole life.
Yeah, totally. And it's we need to start early, like we just do. We need to start as early as possible, but it's also never too late to start. So
right.
If you're in your 60s, 70s, if your pet's, 10, 15, it's never too late to start, but we also want to start as early as possible. So that's it for today, to just kind of leave you on that note of no matter where you are in this journey, hopefully we've convinced you that all this is possible and that you deserve it and that your pets deserve to live that long, healthy life. So we're going to continue this conversation as we do every week, bringing you more information about how to create this longevity lifestyle for you and your pets to support this long, healthy lifespan. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, because this is where Pocket Coaching comes out every week on Mondays. So until then, take care, stay young.
Stay young.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.